Alright, and we are back with another YouTube video. I'm gonna start this video off. First things first, gotta get a haircut. So I'm at my barber now because the hair is not looking good at this stage. I don't even want to show it. Got a big session, training session planned with the boys today. So we're gonna do a high rock style of training. So Brendan and Ruben is gonna join along with JP Hoon. So you guys will get to meet him as well. One of the best fitness coaches out there, in my opinion. Really solid guy, very humble, almost been like a bit of a mentor to me since I came to Dubai, you know, just with his mindset that he's had, and you know, just making me or helping me see clearly what I need to work towards and the things that I need to focus on as a fitness coach myself. So really do enjoy, you know, having these types of sessions with him, because I do learn a lot. I try to ask him as many questions as I can, because you know, there's always room for improvement and to learn and have more knowledge. And you know, like I said, he's probably one of the best fitness coaches in this space, in my opinion, and he has so much knowledge. Definitely a guy to look up to and to learn from. But yeah, first things first, let's get a haircut. Alright, so my barber is with another client at the moment, and I refuse to use another barber. So yeah, while he's cutting his other client's hair, I'm gonna walk to this nearby shop. This is literally the only shop in Dubai that sells white monsters. So every single time I come to this area in Dubai, hey, that truck was super fucking loud. Every single time that I come to this area in Dubai, so this area is JVC, I always come to this shop, get myself a white monster. Another interesting thing, so this building here behind me, exactly where my barber is as well, but this is where I used to work when I came to Dubai, when I first came here. Well, I used to stay here, I didn't work here. So for those of you who don't know, who are new to my channel, is when I first came to Dubai, I worked as a waiter at a hotel. Yeah, this is the block that I used to stay in. So it's like hotel accommodation that would give this to all the employees to stay here. It just reminds me of, you know, where I started and you know, how far I've come. Oh, you're joking, they don't even have white monsters today. Oh wait, they do. Literally got the last one. Okay, so Ruben just called me. Apparently our session with JP is a bit earlier than I thought, so it looks like I won't be able to cut my hair, which is disappointing. Really needed it. Gonna go home right now, get the gym clothes on, go to the gym, and then yeah, I'll see you guys there. Really wanted to get a haircut. I definitely needed it, but you know, it's fine. We'll rock the caveman look for a while. But I also wanted to show you guys around a bit more, you know, where I used to stay when I first came to Dubai. And you guys will hear me say it's a reminder for me every time I go there of how far I've come, the things that I've been through. And I know you guys are probably thinking like, Justin, you're being over dramatic. Like, what the fuck are you bitching about? You know, you had a job, you were in Dubai. You know, why are you acting like, you know, it was the Great Depression? But the thing is, I truly believe, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter where a person is location wise and what their circumstances exactly looked like. You know, it's not like I was suffering or living on the streets or anything like that. But you know, I was in a place in my life where, you know, I felt like I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not living up to my true potential. And you know, this isn't exactly what I envisioned my future would look like, you know, when I'm at 25 years old. You know, and ever since I was 6 years old, my dream was to be a professional rugby player. So I went on to do that, you know, but it didn't last very long. And when my, you know, rugby career ended, I really didn't know what else to do, you know, because that was the main plan for my future. That was where I envisioned myself going and what I was going to do. So to go from that and that plan that I had in my head to now just working as a waiter, you know, earning less than $600 a month, you know, that really took a shock to my ego. And that is basically what I went through. But another thing that I would say, when I was in that stage, something that really pushed me to start working on my self-development was, you know, I went through a breakup. So for those of you who don't know, I was in a long distance relationship when I first came to Dubai. So she was living in the US, Don't ask me how that happened. That's a long story. I'll probably share it with you guys eventually. But yeah, so obviously she was in the US, I'm here in Dubai, so obviously it was very challenging, but we tried to make it work. But you know, as all long distance relationships go, they don't last very long, so eventually we cut things off. That's what sparked my, you know, self-development. And it's not like that cliche thing you'll see online, like guys trying to get back at their exes, you know, for breaking up with them. You know, it was nothing like that. I didn't try to get back at her at all. No, I have nothing bad to say about her. You know, really nice girl. The reason why it sparked my self-development is because I would always tell her things like, you know, I would get us together, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this to make this relationship a lot easier for us. But in reality, I did fuck all to actually make that happen. And when the relationship ended, I just took a hard look at myself, and it made me realize that, you know, I'm not being the man that I want to be. Because I truly believe a man's word is all that he has. And if he can't live up to his word, then, you know, he has nothing. And for me to always say things like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and, you know, not actually living up to my word and doing those things or trying to achieve those things, you know, that was not the type of man that I wanted to be. So when the relationship ended, you know, something clicked in me, and I just took my self-development a whole lot more serious. And for those of you who might have followed me on Instagram, you know, back in that stage, you would see me post my 5 a.m. push-ups every single morning. And that's basically how my self-development started. And, you know, I knew that I need to get myself out of that situation. I didn't want to be at that waiter job anymore. I knew I wanted to go into something fitness related. I always thought about being a coach, but, you know, I couldn't really do that while working there at that hotel. You know, the working hours were insane. It was like 10 to 12 hour work days, 6 days a week. You know, I wanted to have more freedom to actually try and pursue the thing that I actually wanted to do. So in that period, while I was still working as a waiter, I decided to do my online course to become a fitness trainer. I would literally, after every single shift ended, I would go back home and I would start working on that course, you know, until like 5 a.m. in the morning. And then usually I would wake up 9 a.m. in the morning again. I would go and do my workout, and then I'd be off to work again. So after my shift was always the only time that I had to go and work on that course, but I knew I needed to get it. I need to get my certification to, you know, get a job at a gym as a fitness trainer. But eventually, you know, powered through, and I managed to do that. Started applying to different gyms in Dubai. Eventually a gym contacted me, went to all of the interviews, got the job. So that was my first step out. That was my first step in the right direction to where I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. Then worked another 6 months at that gym as an in-person trainer. But that was also never the goal. You know, I love coaching and I love fitness, but, you know, my passion isn't in-person training. I wanted to be an online fitness coach. You know, I just enjoy it so much more. You know, and it's not for the reason that you think. You know, it's not that whole thing of location freedom and, you know, owning your time. You know, obviously all of those things are nice, but I enjoy online fitness coaching so much more, just for, you know, the amount of control that I have over clients and what they do. I could truly actually help someone get in shape through online coaching. That's something that a lot of people, you know, they have this misconception that, you know, in-person trainers are, you know, a lot more effective, but it's truly not. If you think about it, an in-person trainer, they only get to spend an hour with you in the gym, and then once you leave the gym, that's it. You're on your own, doing your own thing. So I never actually had control over, you know, my clients, my in-person clients, once they leave the gym after spending that 1 hour with me. But with the online coaching, it's so much more in detail. I have full control over everything they do, their sleep, their steps, their diets, and that's what truly my passion was. You know, I truly enjoyed you know, seeing all of these analytics, you know, all of these tracking tools that I could use to help someone stay on track. You know, I could actually genuinely help someone get in shape, and that's what it's truly about for me. Yeah, like I was saying, getting a bit off track, but I worked another 6 months at that gym, started working on my online coaching on the side. You know, got a bunch of my friends back home in South Africa, coached them for free, got them great results, and eventually that brought in more clients for me through the results that I got. Yeah, and before you knew it, I had a solid client base, and I could actually go on my own and focus fully on online fitness coaching. And yeah, that's basically where we are at now. You guys are all caught up. Okay, made it to Locker Gym, as you can see behind me, so just waiting for everyone to get here. Probably start stretching while we wait. Me and Brendan trained legs yesterday, so my legs are jelly. I fucked up my hip as well with squats, so we'll see how today goes. Just gonna make sure to get a nice stretch in, lube up the joints, and then yeah, pretty sure it's gonna be a tough one. Let's make our escape. Come on, let's go there. Let's ask, can we stay? Can you take me higher to a place where blind men see?
Because their dog had to get an ACL surgery. No fucking jokes. He was chasing some birds on the grass. The next moment he was fucking like freaking out. Took him to the vet. Said no, his fucking ACL's off.
Just jab him with TB500.
They are doing it. They are jabbing him with Wolverine stack. Yeah. I feel like the instructor. Okay, for next.
Okay, about to start the workout. So I'm currently filming on my phone because I forgot my SD card for my camera as well. Fuck it, guys, I'm not on it with the YouTubes, but like I said, you live and you learn. Okay, so apparently how the workout's gonna work, we're gonna start on the rower machine, then you do 15 burpees, and then 15 lockout pull-ups all the way down, all the way up. That's just a bit of a warm-up set, and then we'll go into, I think it's 4 rounds, everything together.
Yeah. Sis got blah boy, sis got blah boy. Sis got blah boy, sis got blah boy. Yeah. 901 Shelby Drive, look alive, look alive. Niggas came up on this side, now they on the other side. Oh well, fuck them, dawg. We gon' see how hard they ride. I get racks to go outside, and I split it with the guys. We up on the other side, niggas acting like we tied. I been gone since like July, niggas acting like I died. They won't be expecting shit when Capo go to slide, cause I told them that we put that shit behind us, but I lied. Hey, look who I'm around, man. If I fucked up, I'ma be downtown, man.
Right, what's up, boys? We are back at home. Hope you guys enjoyed that little edit of the Hyrox session. So today was officially day 1 of Hyrox training. So we are preparing for the Hyrox Cape Town in South Africa, which was supposed to be in June, I believe. So it's now been pushed up to March, the start of March. So yeah, it's a pretty big jump, not a lot of time to get ready. Yeah, still, you know, getting my fitness level up, you know, being used to only doing bodybuilding style of training. I'm not really used to this high intensity style of training, but we're getting better and better every single week. So yeah, really looking forward to the challenge. It's really gonna be great. And obviously me and JP is gonna be in a team, and Brendan and Ruben, the 2 brothers, are gonna be in a team together. And both of us want to smash it sub 1 hour. So it's a pretty big goal, you know, especially for your first Hyrox. Obviously, I have absolutely no idea what to expect. Obviously, I've never done it before, but I'm up for the challenge. You know, that feeling of unknown, it just pushes you to, you know, train a lot harder, just because you don't really know what to expect or how ready you actually need to be. So, you know, that really pushes you to train a lot harder. Also going to be going back home to South Africa pretty soon, which I am super excited about. You know, I haven't seen my family in over a year. So finally getting to go back is going to be awesome. Also going to be surprising them, and they have absolutely no idea when I'm coming back. So I'm flying out within the next 2 or 3 days. Going to be heading back home, and then I'm going to make a video about that as well, surprising everyone. So yeah, really super excited about that. But also the thing that I want to talk about, just to finish off this video, is, you know, I'm not anywhere close to where I want to be in life. Obviously there's still a lot of things that I want to achieve, still a lot of places I want to go, still a lot of self-improvement that I need to make. But you know, the results that I've seen and the progress that I've made in the last year has been, you know, absolutely insane. You know, the things that I wanted to achieve and the things that I set out for myself, I actually achieved that. In my eyes, that's you know, a pretty big win for me. And you know, this past year has literally been the toughest year physically and mentally, you know, that I've ever had to face. You know, it was harder than any training session I've ever had to do, harder than any bodybuilding prep, harder than any, you know, my time that I played professional rugby, harder than any pre-season training. You know, this year has been by far the hardest thing that I ever had to go through, and it was by far the most rewarding because of that. And the reason why I have made this progress in the last year is literally because of 2 reasons. And number 1 is I wasn't afraid to sacrifice. And number 2 is I didn't care what people thought of me. I didn't care about fitting in. And because of those 2 things, I was able to actually go ahead and achieve the things that I wanted to achieve this year. And that was, you know, quitting my job and fully doing online coaching. I did that. I set a bar for myself, a certain amount of income that I want to achieve through my online coaching business. I achieved that. There's literally, I wish I had my notebook with me. I'll maybe put like a, you know, just like a screenshot or something on here of what I wrote in my notebook. And I wrote in my notebook that by the end of October 2025, I want to make this amount of money through my online coaching business, and I want to quit my job by the end of October. And I did both of those things exactly at the end of October. That is just, it just shows you the power of actually writing your goals down, you know, and writing actually actionable steps that you can take to actually get there. But that is just the main reason why I see so many people never actually achieving the things that they set out for themselves. They never get in that shape that they want to get in. They never start that business that they want to start. And it's because of those 2 reasons. You know, it's nothing to do with work ethic. It's nothing to do with, you know, consistency, you know, in general. It's about sacrifice. They're not willing to sacrifice, and they are so fucking scared of what people think of them. This whole entire year, while I was working at that hotel, you know, there was a lot of people from my home country, you know, a lot of people that I could have hung out with. There was, you know, a lot of times where they had parties, you know, they went out to nice restaurants, nice clubs and everything like that. And I promise you, they would literally invite me every single time, but I would just never go. I would always just say, no, I need to go to the gym, or no, I need to wake up early to work on my coaching course. Obviously, I can just imagine what they thought of me, you know, obviously, like, who the fuck is this guy? You know, he's fucking weirdo. He's never going out, never doing anything. You know, I knew they were probably thinking that, but I just didn't give a fuck, you know, because there were things that I wanted to achieve, you know. Even, you know, during our work days, when we get our 1-hour break to go to the cafeteria to have lunch, you know, I would sit by myself. You know, I would have my own table, I would have my meal, you know, and I would watch YouTube videos, you know, any sort of YouTube videos, you know, something that will improve my mindset, something that will teach me a little bit more about business, something more in the coaching aspects, you know, to learn more information. I would rather spend that 1 hour educating myself and bettering myself than just sitting with everyone else, you know, talking about absolutely nothing. What I wanted to achieve was more important to me. The thing that pisses me off the most is I would speak to so many people And they would tell me, you know, I really want to get in shape. I feel so bad about myself. Every single time I look in the mirror, I get discouraged. My progress in the gym isn't improving. I'm not getting any attention from girls because I'm out of shape. You know, they would list all of these things that they're unhappy about with the way they look and the way their physique looks. And I would always ask them, like, okay, well, what exactly are you not doing at this stage? What do you know that you are not doing at this stage, or that what you are avoiding, that you know will get you there? They always tell me, oh, I just can't see myself, you know, sticking to a diet long term. You know, I don't want to not be able to see my friends on the weekend and have a couple of beers with them. My girlfriend always makes, you know, good food. I don't want to really tell her no, and I want to eat something else. I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, all of those things that you've listed out now, you're not willing to sacrifice those things in order to achieve the thing that you want to achieve, but you're willing to sacrifice your own happiness and your own goals that you want to achieve to keep fucking other people happy. If you want to get in the best shape of your life, you know, if you really want to completely change your life around, it's going to take six months to a year, all right? And you can make massive progress in that time frame. 6 months to a year, that is all that you need. And you know, if you not go out with your friends every single weekend, you know, I wouldn't say you avoid them, but you know, you just make it clear that you have other priorities, and you know, you want to work on yourself in that time period. If they don't respect that, and if their opinion about you completely changes within that 6 months to a year, you know, fuck them anyway, because then they were never the friends that you want to have. You know, friends that know that you're trying to improve yourself and know that you are working on yourself, and they don't, you know, grant you that, and they don't support you when you try to do that, those are not the fucking friends that you want. If you push your girlfriend off, or your girlfriend wants to leave you because you are deciding to work on yourself and improve yourself, that's gonna benefit her in the long term anyway. If she doesn't respect that, then fuck her. It's that sort of sacrifice that most people are not willing to do. They're not willing to, you know, be seen as different or being judged by other people. And that is the number one thing, those two things that are holding people back. And that was the two things that I prioritized the most in the past year. I didn't give a fuck what people thought about me. And, you know, I was willing to sacrifice everything to reach what I want to reach. You know, all of those nights out, you know, they sound really fun. You know, I wanted to go, you know, to go and have a couple of beers with some friends, speak to some girls. You know, I didn't speak to girls in over a year. I didn't talk to them on the phone. I didn't approach any girls. You know, it's not that I didn't want to. It's just I knew that, you know, it's not going to benefit me in any way. You know, it's like, what's having a girlfriend going to benefit me at this stage? You know, it's just going to take more of my time. I'm not going to be able to support her the way that I want to. And you know, so what's the use of even trying? You know, even though I had those urges, you know, to go and speak to girls, message girls, you know, try and meet up with girls, all of these urges, I had them to go out with friends, have some beers, enjoy myself for months, you know. But I just didn't do that in over a year until I actually started making some progress. And I'm basically still like that, because obviously I'm not where I want to be at this stage. There's still a lot of things that I want to achieve. And, you know, I'm not saying that you need to be like that. I'm not saying that you need to, you know, sacrifice your whole life, you know, in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve all the time. You know, obviously, if you actually want to achieve them, sacrifice is needed. But the thing that people don't understand, you know, and I'm speaking specifically, you know, fitness related now at the moment, you know, you will get to a point eventually in your fitness journey where you are lean, you know, you're at a very, very low body fat, you have a decent amount of muscle mass, and that is so fucking easy to maintain in the long run. Getting there is the hard part. Maintaining it is, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's a lot easier. It doesn't require that much sacrifice, you know. And I can see that with, you know, all of the clients that I have at this stage. We got them to that stage where they want to be. We got them in the best shape of their lives. And, you know, now they're able to actually enjoy themselves. You know, they're able to go out with their girlfriends and, you know, eat a meal at a restaurant. You know, they're able to have a beer now and then, you know, because they've put in the hard work already. They've reached the result, you know. Every single time they do that, when they go out and they eat something, you know, not in their diet at a restaurant, or they go and have a couple of beers, man, they're back on it, you know. Monday, they're 100% dialed in again. Their diets are on fucking point. They don't miss. And on the weekend, you know, they obviously still do it on the weekend in moderation. You know, but that's just the habits that you learn as you go on. But it's so fucking easy to maintain. That's what I'm trying to make. People have this idea in their head when they first, you know, set out to follow a program or a diet plan. You know, they have this idea in their head, you know, once it gets hard and once it gets difficult, they have this idea, you know, I'm never going to be able to maintain this for the rest of my life. This is useless. I don't even have to try, you know, this is way too hard. I don't want to live my life, you know, the rest of my life this way. But that's the thing. You don't fucking have to, bro. It's just the sacrifice in the moment. Sacrifice in the moment to be able to get you there. And then you can actually reap the benefits. And then it's so easy to maintain. And that's the thing that people are not understanding, you know. But the main reasons for that is because they are unwilling to sacrifice and they give too much of a fuck of what people think about them. As soon as you can, you know, eliminate those two barriers that is holding you back, I promise you, you will make so much fucking progress. It's gonna be insane. And you're gonna meet so much better people along the way by doing that. You're gonna meet like-minded people that have the same goals and ambitions as you, know. Those are the type of people that you want around you, not some fucking fake friends that only wants to be your friend because, you know, you can go and have a couple of beers with them. You know, that's not the type of friends that you want. You want friends that push you every single day. You want friends that holds you accountable. You know, you want friends that actually sets an example for you. Those are the type of people that you want around you. So if there's one message or idea that I can leave with you guys in this video, so there's this quote. I can't really remember who said it, but the quote goes, I think it's the guy who played Elvis, but the quote goes, embarrassment is an unexplored emotion, so go make a fool of yourself. Basically what that means is, you know, so many people avoid being embarrassed, you know, because it's such an unexplored emotion, because people avoid it so much. But the benefits that you get from that, you know, being able to allow yourself to be embarrassed for a while, you know, to stand out, to be judged. You know, if you can actually just get yourself to be comfortable in that uncomfortable situation, in that embarrassment, if you can be able to do that while working on yourself and working towards the goals that you want to achieve, I promise you, you will get there. But you need to be able to be comfortable in that uncomfortable situation.